with the HPV vaccine, with the Gardasil, which people know it as. So we actually have Anne, and Anne is on the phone because we've had a lot of women calling in, and Anne wants to come on because she actually she got the consent form from her daughter when she was in school, and her mother signed it, but she also noted that her daughter can't take yeast, and she, correct me if I'm incorrect, Anne, that she suffers with epilepsy. Is that correct, Anne?
She had epilepsy when she was small.
And you signed that on the form to let them know, and yet they still gave her the vaccination. And when you got in touch with the Irish Epilepsy, can you tell us what they said to you?
I've asked the Irish Epilepsy to look into it, because some parents are being advised now, if their daughter has seizures, not to ask. But there's actually information to alert the parents before they actually consent with anything to do with seizures. And my daughter has epilepsy now, as well as non-epileptic seizures and lots of other symptoms since she actually got this vaccine. And how long ago has she had the vaccination, Anna? Carl got it in 2012, and since then it's just been totally downhill. Her life has completely changed. She doesn't play sports. She was banned from school in the beginning because she was taking so many seizures. Wow. She hasn't been well the last 3 weeks, and it's just unreal at this stage. I can't say how hard it is on us as parents to watch your daughter constantly being sick for 4 years. Mm-hmm. I get calls the whole time, or I'm adding people to the Facebook group, and the stories is just appalling, of these girls suffering seizures, not being able to attend school, in wheelchairs, in beds, and all we want is help from the HSE to come in and see what has happened to these 400 plus girls, and the numbers are not going to drop. They're going to stay rising. The vaccine has been given out in the schools here, and it breaks my heart just to think another girl will go through what my daughter has gone through, or my family.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's just unreal. How can they ring up? They send out a consent form, and this is from a parent in my own town. They send out a consent form for you to sign, and then they ring it up when they didn't consent. They actually rang up and asked why they didn't actually consent. This is wrong, whether it's because when you don't consent, they shouldn't be ringing you up and asking it. But
do you feel you were pressurised by that?
Well, that parent is happy actually now that, they did, because she got this information back. Mm-hmm. That when she actually did ring, or when they actually did ring her, she just said her daughter wasn't well, and she read up that, seizures. She had done her own research, and she's seen that lots of these girls have seizures. And she said, well, my daughter has epilepsy and her seizures is uncontrolled. And it was actually said, well, I wouldn't advise your daughter getting the vaccine then. And she said, well, when were you going to tell me that? She said, if I couldn't sign the consent form, what way would she have gone then after that? Mm. And she asked personally, said, what do they think? And, they said, you'll be damned if you get it and you'll be damned if you don't. It's just, what's happened to all these girls?
They're all sitting at home.
How got sick? It's not like they say it's a coincidence. They say it's in their heads. They say they're asking the girls, have the depression, are they bullied, is it anxiety, stress, everything.
But Anne, can I just say one thing? Can I say one thing? I mean, for a girl that's losing her sight, for a girl that's in a wheelchair, it's in her head? It's a coincidence?
Well, the most important, the worst thing that could have been said to my daughter, and this is only going back during the summer, was when she was lying in the bed. It's the first time in 4 years that I've actually seen her so bad. She cried that much. I didn't know what to do. And the doctor walked in and he actually told her to get up and do it. Get up and do it. She was get up out of bed, and I said, do what? Do what? Have a seizure, non-epileptic seizure, syncope, POTS? like, what was she to do? And her poor face, and she just cried and cried. And I just asked the doctor to leave the room. What else could I do?
And this is also costing you, because you were saying that you have to go back and forward to the school if your daughter does take a seizure in school, that you have to get a taxi, and you do have to take a taxi to take her to school when she does manage to go in.
Yeah, I get a taxi. She gets a taxi into school. If she collapses in the school, they'll ring me. Or if she's unwell, it's not only collapsing; it's daily headaches. She has pains in her chest at the moment. She cried up to 1:30 the other night in the bed with pain in her chest. Like, what do I do? Do I pack her up and bring her to a hospital? What we've done for 4 years, and bring her back home again? We're not getting the answer to what the pain in the chest is. The pains in the head, they say it's migraine. She's on top. Thank God they're helping, but there's no further investigation in the line of where has this come from, how can we sort this out. Her blood is a total mess. Her blood's low vitamin B12, low blood cells, folic acid, everything, autoimmune disorder, everything. Like, I had a perfectly healthy girl. She asked the doctor in the hospital the last day she was down, can you just explain to me, I played sports for my county, my parish, I had no problem. And she said, how is it that when I run now, she said, my heart, she said, races over her body, like, it races that fast.
So it's like,
he couldn't answer.
But in the end, it's like I think all the women, all the families, all the mothers, the fathers and the grandparents, because I know there is a lot of grandparents that have to take time out to look after their grandchildren because the parents can't afford to be taking so much time off work. And I just wanted to finish up on this, Anne. What are you looking for answers about the vaccination and also care for your daughters? I think that's what they're missing hugely. And there's a lot of girls just left. Just left,
yeah. They're left without
they're abandoned.
Education.
They're just young, abandoned girls.
What I would like is, I would like an investigation into all these girls, for a team to come and investigate what has happened to all these girls. It's not in their heads. It's not a coincidence. How can you say that this is what these girls have if it has never been investigated? The studies that they're going back on is back years ago. From the way I can see it, you have the post-marketing side effects, but nobody's coming on board to investigate these girls. And that, they need to see, the damage. And I've asked Simon Harris to meet my daughter. I've sent the emails, and all she wants to do, if he gives her 5 minutes, for her to tell him how she feels what this vaccine has done to her.
And that's Simon Harris, the Minister for Health? Yeah.
And it's like she has sent, there's an email that she has in it of what's happened to her. And, I can't understand why these people won't come and meet the group and meet some of these girls and listen to them.
So we have to finish up there, Anne. So sorry, time is running out on the show here. So basically, like earlier on, we were talking to Karen. So if any mothers or fathers needs any information, please get in touch with www.regret.ie. Or if anybody's any questions or they're thinking, is my daughter okay? And again, and I'm saying this on Anne's behalf and on Karen's behalf, on many mothers and fathers that are going through this. This is not an anti-vaccination group. No. These are parents who are so worried about their children's health, and they're just letting other parents know that if they do get one of those forms, please research it. Don't just look at the Irish.ie sites, go worldwide. Dr. Deirdre Little, drdeirdrelittle.com. If she's an Australian, there's many different sites. If you go on to, there's many different sites that you can check out, or you can go on to pubmed.com. There's so many different areas that you can look at. But if you go into the Irish, you'll get the same stuff over and over again. It is not a group of people that are anti-vaccination. They want answers, they want investigations, and they want care for their girls, which they're not receiving at the moment. And thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
And I'll definitely keep in touch and see how things move forward.